Christian calling from a toilet in Stockholm, and as you can see, it's a toilet. But I'm not sitting on the toilet. Well, I'm sitting on the toilet, but I'm not doing the... I'm sitting like this on the toilet. Yeah, okay. So here we are. I am here, and I'm ready to answer your questions. So hit me with them.
Okay. In this text that we're talking about, you are very determined to abandon this linear left to right compositional tradition, and this is something that you've been talking about for a long time. To get going, do you know of any other compositional methods or other suggested methods by other artists or composers or whatever that have traditionally tried to also break from that tradition of like linear A to B, left to right idea?
Yeah, sure. I don't know. A lot of people have tried to get a wobbly sense of time, or abstract sense of time, or let's say more, a different sense of time. But very few. Not very few, but quite a few. Not so many people have tried to work with a music without time. If I'm aware of other people, sure. A lot of experimental composers of the 60s were touching down that subject, but it seems to die with computer music, because computer music was so the focus on computer music was so based on documentation, and therefore the idea of having something that may have moved from point A to point D in order to be able to be documented. So that's why I think in that it potentially, in the terms of computer music, was interesting to try to work on something which did not move from A to B. But there's a lot of notation that doesn't move from A to B. A good example could be Christian Wolff, Etches, which is a really good composition, I think. It's almost like a game. It's almost like a video game without the video game, but it's a So I consider more a game piece rather than a composition, which has the form of a game. Very good.
Okay, so in this idea of breaking or challenging this linearity from left to right tradition of representing time and change in music, at the same time, it is very, very hard to break loose from this directionality, because time, as explained, as we understand it, is heavily dependent on direction. And I know you will tell me that you're talking about symbolic representations of space-time and not about physics. You're not talking about physics, I understand that. But even before physics and like contemporary physics and everything, the directionality of time seemed to be like very much ingrained in most people's way of understanding like everyday life and the world and everything. So my point is that it is really, really hard for people, and I'm sure this is something that will come up in the session later today with the audience. Like even if you understand what you're talking about, then it's really, really hard to apply it. And so what can you comment on that? But I'm sure it's something that you
Right. I think it's rather simple. Abstract time is something you can think about. As soon as you put something into the world, you're hit by the physical world and the surroundings of the physical world, and therefore you need to get physical. But abstract time is something that you can think of the concept of abstract time. You might not be able to live it out in a sense. But then again, it really depends which way you're measuring things. Most people consider this, which is a watch, to deal with to be a representation of time. However, that's that's one way. Other people, etc. Well, time is something we measure. If you change the ingredients of the measurement, you can have a physical representation of abstract time. Time is an invented idea, basically. So since it's an idea, it's also flexible.
Yeah, sure. It's an invented idea, but at the same time, it seems to be like a fundamental property of the universe.
Sure. I believe time is what the universe needs when things have to happen. In order to make things happen, you need to apply time to it.
Okay. Yeah.
basically how I see it.
Okay, and another question is that in your text you mentioned that after describing your compositional method, you talk about 45 examples or scores that you were going to compose.
Still working.
It's not working.
I just try to do it slowly so they're not all the same, because getting a good idea or a good solution in order to break this structure is not something you get 45 at once.
Mm-hmm.
So I work slowly. I have about 16 now.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I don't know if I should only include my own, or if I should include other people's as well. To begin with, I thought I should only include my own, but other people have come up with really good solutions. So in that respect, I will make a library of 45. So I'm still working on that.
Mm-hmm.
However, I haven't completed I haven't completed yet. I made about 16 representations, what I think is good enough, and other people have made some rather good ones too. So I could bring those into the library. That would add it up. That means we are closer to completion, but we haven't done. It's not done yet. It might take another 10 years, maybe. Who knows? I don't want to rush it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And are these 16 scores online, or?
No, they're only in the library. I'm very bad at putting things online. Also, simply because a lot of the internet have been text-based so far, and because I'm word blind, I have always had a weird relationship with the internet. I'm well documented on the internet, but I'm not self-documenting on the internet. The same with this. I don't know how to make a website for these things. I don't know how to represent it, but maybe with the things like Pinterest, etc., there might be a forum to bring this into discussions. But so far, they're only in boxes. If somebody has a great idea, you're welcome to contact me. I'm gladly have them represented somehow. Also, they could be exhibited somewhere if somebody was interested in that. Right now, they're just in the basement. They have stayed there for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And also, you talk about, and it is implied in a lot of your talks and performances, if you want to call them that, about utopia.
Right.
Which examples from the recent scientific literature or non-academic sources have you encountered that suggest or somehow make you think that this artificial and alternative intelligence's singularity is indeed something that we can actually talk about in not just as utopia, but in real terms?
So which science fiction literature have been reading, which I think backs up my ideas? I don't know. James Patrick Kelly have written a book called he's written a short story. Wait, somebody's moving around upstairs, and I honestly can't remember the title of it. But it's a ode to Frederick Poole's writing called Day Million. It's a very interesting one. Hold on, I could look it up on the internet. However, it's not so interesting. It's in a book called Strange But Not a Stranger, which is a collection of short stories.
Mm-hmm.
That's rather good. It's a far-fetched sort of fundamental future dream, just as Frederick Poole's Day Million was from many years ago. So it's very that's a rather good one. Another one which I could recommend, which I think is action packed right now. A lot of Robert Charles Wilson's writing have been interesting, but also this is very interesting. I doubt that I think the idea of having a dialogue with a computer in the future will stay a utopian belief, simply for one fact. I think we are mostly interested in communicating for our own likes. So that means that even the day that the computer starts to speak to you, you will still just call it a computer. The same with animals. If you have a scenario where the dolphins sit by a table with you and eat with knife and forks and hangs out and is capable of engaging in a conversation, you will still say, but you're still just a dolphin. I think we generally are mostly interested in communicating for our own likes. You see the same with music. A lot of Swedish people, I'm in Sweden right now, is more happy to have a hit in the US than in China, simply because similarities between the US in Sweden is bigger than it's between China and Sweden. We have a lot of music and a lot of art forms is really about bragging and about bringing something back home, and not about the far-fetched ideas of communicating with something that something or someone that you have nothing in common with. So I really think it is only a place for dreamers. But that's why I like to be there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I think that's enough. We have enough with all this. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, and enjoy Sweden.
Enjoy the Tyler app, Sweden. Excellent. See you.
Okay, speak soon.
Bye.
Bye.